Hi, my name is Judie Vankooiman, and you're watching Life Issues. This month's show is about Centerboard in Lynn, and my guests are Olivia Grinstead and Danny Acosta. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Glad. Olivia, I'm going to start with you. What is your professional background?
I am professionally, I'm the program director of the Lynn Family Resource Center, and I have a master's and bachelor's in social work, and I'm working on getting my certification in nonprofit management this fall at Suffolk University.
Oh, wow. Good for you.
Thank you.
Good. And what is Centerboard?
So Centerboard is kind of like a bunch of programs all wrapped in one. It's a nonprofit program that has everything from housing help, scattered housing sites for those who are facing housing insecurity. They have YPLPs, which is our youth parent living programs. We have independent living programs for those who are in DCF custody or DTA custody. And we also have group homes and pre-independent living programs for those kind of like aging out into like more of like adulthood and like teenage years. My program, the Lynn Family Resource Center, is a community program, a part of Centerboard that is kind of like the hub of community resources, and we help families from filling out applications from SNAP, housing applications, applications for mass health. We also have a monthly diaper distribution, and we also have a community closet where folks who are facing any kind of insecurity, basic needs, can come in, ask for whatever they need, and we can kind of provide it for them. And we have a community closet, which is in the back of our FRC, which is full of clothes from newborn all the way up to adults, so that they can come in anytime and get whatever they need.
Okay. And when was it established?
So Centerboard's been around for over 25 years, and yeah, that's insane to me still too, because it's been around for so long. And the Lynn Family Resource Center was established back in 2015.
Okay, so both long term. Okay, and Danny, I'm going to switch over to you.
Yep.
What is the mission statement of Centerboard?
So I love Centerboard's statement. I think it really encompasses all of the programs that we have, is to revitalize our communities through people, through resources that we have, and it's really broad. And which is something that I love, because whether you go through the Teen Parent Program, whether you go to the Lynn Family Resource Center, or you come to my program, the True Mentorship Program, we're revitalizing families all across the board. We're revitalizing youth all across the board. And when you come to a community and you see that happening through an agency like Centerboard, through our agency at the Lynn Family Resource Center, or even through our several, a plethora of programs that we provide, it doesn't cease to exist, that our mission statement stands in the forefront of all of that.
Okay. And Danny, what is your professional background?
So I also have a bachelor's and a master's in social work. I am a published author, and I do motivational speaking. I help a lot of people. So my particular position here at the Lynn Family Resource Center, I run the True Mentorship Program. So I'm the program coordinator, the mentorship coordinator there, and I recruit mentors there. I also coordinate our mentors, and I'm able to establish strong ties and rapport with our families. A lot of our youth that we work with, it's really awesome. So having a background in ministry, specifically youth ministry, for over 11 years now, it's been a blessing to be able to implement that. Though we are not a faith-based nonprofit organization, we are able to use a lot of that strategy, a lot of the coordination, a lot of the facilitation, but a lot of the leadership skills that are needed from ministry over to what I do now. So it's really good.
Good.
Yeah.
And Olivia, what is your title and what does that entail?
Yeah, so I'm the program director of the Lynn Family Resource Center, and that kind of is like, basically I supervise like all of our day-to-day programs, all of our day-to-day organizational policies, programs, grant writing, grants, accepting grants, writing grants, even just kind of like making sure all of my team is kind of like doing what they need to do, making sure they have the support that they need, making sure all the groups that they are all facilitating, and the groups that I'm facilitating myself are all run properly and all run to what the program states, so that we're kind of like keeping everything on track and making sure the families in the community are getting exactly what we said that they're going to be able to get, and hopefully more.
Yeah, jack of all trades,
Exactly.
basically.
Oh yeah.
I try.
And what type of services does Centerboard provide?
So yeah, Centerboard is fantastic, like I said, with all those different inner programs with that help from DCF, DTA. We help house families through DTA helps house families in our housing scattered sites in Centerboard, and then DCF and DTA can have beds available at all of our youth parent programs, the group home, the independent living, pre-independent living. We also have the community programs like True Mentorship. We Rise is another program, and the Lynn Family Resource Center, where we provide anything that families need. They can come in, ask any question. No question is too crazy, and no question is ever going to go unanswered. We might need a little bit of time to answer the question, but we will always get people what they need. Even the steps, we try to get them as many steps as possible to reach whatever question they had or whatever goal they had in mind when they step into our office. Nobody ever leaves empty-handed. That's our main goal at the FRC.
And something that I think it's a highlight also of our particular kind of program over at the Lynn Family Resource Center is that we make sure that everything is accessible, whether you have a disability or even for people that are in the LGBTQ community, people that speak other languages other than English. We make sure that we have an interpreter. I'm one of the interpreters at our site. I speak English and Spanish, so we're able to provide that support, whether they're going to court, whether they're going to mock interviews, and we're also building up our youth and our teenagers that want to go into the workforce, right? So we help them bolster their resumes. We help them bolster their job skills, whether they're hard skills, soft skills. We do that all in house, and it's a myriad of things that we're able to do. And so I really appreciate that question, Judie. It's a really good question.
Good. And you kind of touched base a little bit about it, Olivia, but what is the Family Resource Center?
Family Resource Center is just like a hub of all resources in the community, not just the Lynn community, but any community in Massachusetts, really, that people can come into. There are other resource centers in different cities. I believe there are now 32 resource centers, all scattered out throughout Massachusetts. And so we kind of just try to make sure all of our clients who come in reach everything, all their goals that are needed. We try to make sure it's a very person first, a person centered philosophy. We want to make sure we do what it takes to get families whatever they need. That's basic needs, housing, baby formula, diapers, clothes. I've had folks come in they need help with mass health, unemployment applications, really anything that families come in. We never turn anybody away. We always make sure that they leave with something that they didn't have before they came in our doors.
And one of the things that we do focus on as well is CRAs, which is an acronym for Child Requiring Assistance. It's one of the key points and one of the reasons, and I would say a cornerstone of why FRCs were created. Yep. And so a lot of the youth that are CRAs, they're filed either through the school or a parent. A lot of them are either struggling in school with behavior, attendance, grades, so forth. They're probably running away from home. Maybe they're using substances that they're struggling getting away from, and addiction and so forth. So through our clinician, whose name is Pam, we're able to create youth diversion plans with them. Then I, as a mentor, I'm able to also sit with them, mentor them, talk to them. We do a lot of counseling. We do a lot of family counseling as well. And we're able to guide them, not force them through it, but walk along their side, encouraging them. And as I tell the youth in our program, I'm your biggest cheerleader. I'm going to cheer you on to the end, but you have to do your part, right? I can't do it for you, but I believe in you. And I think it's one of the key points that we're able to bring into our community, bringing youth out of a zone or out of a place where they're going into a really dark path. And as a person that has a background in substance use and so forth, and even as a person with a disability, due to a lot of my past, I can tell people, the path that you're going down right now, I just came back from it, and I'm letting you know it's not the right way to go. So I love that I'm able to be at an organization where we're able to show youth that this is the path, the alternative, that is so much better for you and your future.
Okay, great. Thank you. And what is True Mentor stand for?
It's a really cool acronym. So it stands for Teach One, Reach One, Uplift One, Empower One. And so these are kind of four corners of a strong foundation that we've established with all of our mentors. We have to have a heart that remains teachable. Our youth are supposed to remain teachable, not just at a young age, but for the rest of their lives. Reaching one. You want to reach someone that you can connect with. So I'm able to establish a lot of those connections. I can look at a mentor, I can look at the mentees and see, okay, well, where do they belong? Where will they grow the best? Which relationship will help them and hone their skills to bring the best out of them? Uplift one. A lot of our youth are going through mental health situations, whether it's a crisis in the family, Maybe a young man lost a family member. We have a lot of our youth, I would say the majority, don't have a father figure in their lives. Some of them have their fathers in jail. Some of them lost their fathers through drug abuse and so forth. So when you uplift a person, a lot of times I tell the guys that I work with, and some of the females that we can get to later, sometimes the best helper is a good listener, and then empower one. Empowering is a very, very valuable, I would say, characteristic of our program. A lot of our youth have lost the ability to say, I can. I want to. I believe in myself. There's this discouragement that when they look in the mirror, they see a person that looks like a failure. And so what can we do as mentors to change that image in their heart? What can we do as mentors in the community to reestablish empowerment in their hearts? And not only are our youth males that are usually ages 6 to 18, we also do therapeutic mentoring. A lot of our youth are in the LGBTQ community. A lot of our youth are struggling with different and various forms of addiction, mental health challenges. And some of them have been at high risk of homelessness. Some of them have been very close to getting kicked out of schools or have been in several schools. They can't really establish themselves academically. And so my goal is to say, okay, how can I get this person, mentor them, and make it very, very a very, very powerful point where they can remain steadfast in the journey that they're in. And we have very successful rates in that. So we're really proud of the guys and the mentors that we have.
Great. And what type of mentoring do you do for the females?
That's a good question, Judy. The young females that we mentor, beautiful girls. Unfortunately, a lot of them are also going through battles. Like the previous battles that I mentioned prior, these girls are also going through it. I think the hardest challenge sometimes, and we do have a program that's part of Centerboard called We Rise, which really does help a lot of the girls that have either experienced or at high risk of sexual exploitation and so forth. So a lot of the girls that I mentor, we call it therapeutic mentoring. So I'm the mentor. I do therapeutic mentoring with them. And then we have our clinician inside where I seek counsel from a clinical standpoint. She's our clinician. So she has I believe it's over 40 years of experience, which for us, it's extremely valuable. I mean, there's no way to thank her enough for what she does for us. And a lot of these girls, because I am a male, sometimes the parents are like, I don't know, but if you talk to all of our girls, they always look forward to coming back. And it's one of the things that I really value. But I also know how to, we know how to hold boundaries. We know how to establish a professional mentoring relationship with these young girls. And now, because we're able to provide that, we're able to provide more services to our communities. And I'll give you an example of one really quick. We have a girl that I mentor right now, and I started mentoring her brother first. And when she saw everything that I was doing with her brother, she's like, wait a minute, I want to go with Danny too. Like, why can't I go? And so that was kind of the seed that was planted. And here we are, therapeutic mentoring with a lot of females in the community.
And you also co-facilitate Nurturing Fathers group. What is that?
Yeah, Nurturing Fathers is a really fun group that we provide to a lot of the fathers in our communities. So let's say a father had their kid taken away for X reason, right? And DCF is involved. Often they are. Well, what we hold is a program that usually the court will require the father to take our courses and be able to reestablish the relationship with their kids, but also be able to revisit their kids. Meaning, maybe they might start with supervised visits, but then that can grow into a more fruitful visit as we teach them different skills. So a lot of our fathers that come in, maybe they had trauma in their past. Maybe they were taught the way you discipline a child is physically, or the way you love a child is always hard love, right? Or maybe a lot of these guys grew up with no sisters or no females in their life. And so when they do have a daughter, they feel very uncomfortable. Sometimes it's awkward for them to hug a girl without that weird double meaning intention. And so we're able to foster a lot of these healthy relationships between the fathers that are in our community and their children, because statistically, we know the majority of youth that grow up without a father figure or a male figure in their life end up having what, in air quotes, what they call daddy issues. But a lot of times they become codependent on other men, and often they're toxic men in their lives with a lot of these youth. It might be men that will turn out to be sexual traffickers. It might be men that are exploiting them, men that are exposing them to substances, to gangs and violence and so forth. And so how can we make healthier, stronger, responsible fathers? Well, nurturing fathers is one of the ways that we do that.
Okay, very good.
Yep.
And Olivia, what is We Rise?
We Rise is an amazing program headed in the community sector right now, and it's basically a program that helps, like Danny said, helps young girls from really any age. I think the youngest we've had was 11, to kind of like empower them and make sure that they have a positive female role model in their life, and to make sure that they're not going down the CSEC path. So they're girls who are at risk or in the life of sexual trafficking, or CSEC, which is child or with commercial sexual exploitation of children. So it's just a program that kind of like is like an interference with that program, to make sure that they're going down the right path, to make sure that they're in good graces of other like strong women who have possibly been in that life or were at risk at one point in their life of CSEC. So they have women who are strong, independent, just amazing role models to look up to and to check in every day, to check in bi-weekly, depending on like what the case may be. But yeah, it's an amazing program.
And they do provide bilingual services,
Yes.
which is really important because, as we know, a lot of the young girls that come from other countries here often are exploited, often are vulnerable to those situations. So I'm really proud of We Rise that they're able to also provide services to non-English speakers.
Right. Yeah, that's great. And very important topic nowadays in everything we do. What is the mental health advocacy program?
So the mental health advocacy program, or we call it MHAP, is headed up by health law advocates, and it's a program where it's a lawyer that comes into the FRC and helps with special education, mental health laws, or like Danny was saying earlier with CRAs, or children requiring assistance. They kind of like step in to make sure that everything is going by the book, making sure that these students are actually getting a fair shake, making sure that they're getting the most, or getting all of their needs met legally, and making sure that they are following all of the steps and procedures to make sure that they're getting, like I said, just to have a fair chance in the schools. So it doesn't automatically go to courts, or doesn't go doesn't go in a bad direction.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
All right. Danny, there's a couple more things that you do too.
Yes.
Would you like to share those?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do a plethora of things outside of Centerboard. So I also do spiritual mentoring. So I am a person of faith. I'm a Christian. So I mentor a lot of youth in the community. I've mentored up to 120 youth in the past. And in my current church, I mentor several youth there, both male and females. I am also a published author, so I just published a book called Blindly Painting Words of Love, A Poet's Adventure. This was published in February 2022. We just hit the 1-year anniversary this year, and for the 1-year anniversary, we were able to make an audiobook, and this book is available in English and Spanish. So all the royalties of this book, it's actually used to help families, immigrant families, that have kids with disabilities. And so I don't touch a penny for myself. It's all used to help families. My heart, and I have a passion for young folks, especially those that are really struggling. My goal in my heart was always, how can I provide services to those that are going through what I went through when I was young, but I didn't have access to those services because I was an immigrant in Los Angeles. I wasn't always blind, right? I didn't always have chronic kidney failure, but having gone through that experience and still being completely blind, I know the challenges that come with it. And especially when you're an immigrant, you're locked out of so many services. And so I chose to make a difference. I chose to make an impact. So this is what our book is doing. And at the end, maybe we could talk a little bit about it, but I would like to offer that book for free to all of your viewers today. I also do English classes, both publicly and privately. I work with different nonprofits. I teach English to various people. I've had students from Korea, from the Middle East, from Africa, all over Latin America, all over the Caribbean, and we're still expanding, even Morocco. I've had students from all over the world. And so we're really excited that we're able to provide that, again, publicly and private classes. I'm a professional interpreter. I do a lot of interpretation for nonprofits, whether they're politicians, whether executive directors, whether they're holding classes, whatever the case may be, even courts and hospitals. I'm able to provide that service to a lot of families at either affordable and at times even a free cause, depending on what the situation may be. And so that's a little bit about what I do in my time outside of Centerboard, and it's been very, very a huge blessing, to say the least. And Of course, I do motivational speaking, public speaking engagements, conferences, seminars, spiritual encounters and retreats and stuff like that. So that's been a huge blessing as well.
Okay. And would you like to share about the scholarships?
So as we know, right now that we know true, right? Teach one, reach one, uplift one, empower one. Yes. So I took that word and I said, we need to make an impact in this community. So I created a scholarship called the Empowerment Scholarship at Centerboard. So what the Empowerment Scholarship does is that we're able to provide a scholarship to all people despite their immigration status, so that they have an equitable opportunity to go to college. As an immigrant myself, originally from Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, I faced the battle of not being able to be eligible for financial aid. Yet, through a lot of hard work, a lot of sacrifice, and it's going to shock a lot of people, through not even buying myself clothes, through the span of all of my college and academic years, I graduated with my associates debt-free, with my bachelor's debt-free, and with my master's debt-free. Never took out a loan, ever. Never needed a student loan. Because when you work hard, and I did it blind, and I did it while on dialysis, I did it with chronic kidney failure, I did it with anxiety. How much more can people do it when they're not facing those battles? And there's a lot of immigrants in the community that want to be able to pursue that. So I said, we need to make an impact. Empowerment Scholarship was something that I believe the Lord laid on my heart. We were able to create that thanks to Centerboard and a lot of the support that we got. And so here we are, impacting lives in our communities. And I believe the Empowerment Scholarship is only going to get better. And this year, if you're interested, you can check out our website. And we're going to be giving away 4 scholarships to 4 different people. And I believe it's $1,000 each. Is that, I think
correct?
That's what
yes.
we were told.
Nice.
So
Very good.
As somebody who's on the Empowerment Scholarship board, it's such an incredible thing Danny was able to do. Last year we were able to provide 500 to 2 or 3.
I believe it was 3. Yep.
Yeah, 3 youth, and we were able to do through different fundraisers and through different social media stuff from Danny's account, his personal account, and his public account. Like, he was able to expand it and bring it up to $1,000 for 4 youth, and hopefully with the same attitude and same chutzpah, we're able to increase it for next year, and it just keeps, hopefully it'll keep snowballing from there. The more money, the more youth that we will be able to help with this program.
Great. And can you please tell us about your residence for the youth and adults?
Centerboard has housing or scattered housing sites. So through DHCD, you can call and kind of they connect you to a certain homeless coordinator, and through that homeless coordinator, they can connect to Centerboard's main line and our scattered housing sites, and they can get a sheltered bed or be put on the waiting list. It depends on what the acceptance is. They can be put on a list for housing. And they get housing we have housing scattered sites in Salem. I think there's Lynn. I think there's even some in Melrose as well. Wherever Centerboard can find housing to support these families, they really kind of grab on and try their best to house as many families as they can. And they just opened they're actually helping with the Haitian immigration or migrants that have just come in. They have about 3 hotels open that they're hosting at the moment as well, and they have an immigration site in Salem for migrants that they house up to about 60 families, and that's over 100 people that they have in Salem. So that program is very, very well used.
Yeah, no, and I love the network that Centerboard has. We all work together, right? So if we have any youth in our group homes, in the teen parent programs, if we have youth that are even at those Salem sites, right, in those hotels, through the FRC, we're able to not only keep unification of families, but for those youth that were also taken away from their families, from their parents, we work with the parents, then we work with the youth, and we ask ourselves, what are some goals that we can put in place, what we call SMART goals? What are some goals that we can put in place so that we can unify these families back together? Because a lot of the trauma that happens and a lot of the times that they get discouraged and leads them down a negative path is the hatred, the anger, the resentment that there is because they were separated from their families. I have a lot of youth that I actually that I mentor that started at a group home, and now we're able to help them. We actually just unified one of those young men with their moms, and it was really, really awesome. It was really good to see that we're able to do that, but it's all because we take a collaborative approach, not just with our clients, but with our entire agency as well.
Okay. And Olivia, can people volunteer with Centerboard?
Yeah, absolutely. Not so much like Centerboard as a whole. That would be like you have to be quarried and stuff because it's such vulnerable
course.
populations. But the Lynn FRC, as it's more of a community association, we definitely take on volunteers. We have monthly community events where we host during Christmas, we do Toys for Tots with the Marine Corps. So we partner with them to do Toys for Tots. For last year was over 250 families we were able to give toys to.
Wow.
So we definitely would love help during the holiday season where we can help provide as much toys as possible, putting together the bags. We also have Trunk or Treat during Halloween season where the families from all of the different communities, all of the different residencies can come and kind of go from table to table. We kind of did that as a COVID method.
Oh, right.
And then we were able to do trick-or-treating buckets the year before and had even a community party. But now that I feel COVID restrictions are kind of like lifting, we might be able to see more parties and more gatherings this year, hopefully.
Yes.
So they can come and like we'll put my email at the end, and if they ever want to come and volunteer, we definitely have lots of volunteer opportunities, especially for the community closet. We bundle our clothes into about 7 or 8 bundles, and at the moment I'm currently the only one who take them home, bundle them, and I currently have about 6 bags of donated clothes that I make sure are washed, cleansed, sanitized, and bundled. So definitely takes a village to get them out there, but we definitely would love volunteers.
Yeah.
Never turn people away.
Okay. Danny, if anyone would like more info, can you please give us your email address and your website too?
Yeah, my email is dacosta@centerboard.org. Or if you also want to reach out about the book that we were speaking about, and if you want a free copy, we provide it in English and Spanish. And not only do we have it in an audiobook, we also have it in what's called EPUB, which is another fancy word of saying like PDF kind of thing. So you can view it, and I want to make sure it's accessible. So for folks that are completely blind and need an audiobook, hey, there's an audiobook. If you say, well, Danny, I'm hard of hearing, but I would prefer something more visual, well, we also have it in that form. And you could reach out to me at dannyacosta.com. That's www.dannyacosta.com. dannyacosta.com. Just send me an email there. Tell me, hey, Danny, I would like my free copy in this language and audiobook or PDF, and I will send that right over. And I think everybody should have an opportunity to get that, and I hope that it continues to impact lives as we continue to serve families all across the world. And remember that every single book that we do sell, it all helps families. So when you buy a book, it's helping people all across the world. So
Okay,
yeah.
great. Thank you, Danny.
Thank you.
And Olivia, can you give us your contact info?
Yeah, absolutely. My contact information is ogrinstead@centerboard.org, or I also run the Lynn FRC at centerboard.org email as well. And like you said earlier with the volunteers, or email me whenever, if you ever have questions, if you ever would like to donate. We are always looking for diaper donations, clothing donations of any size, youth to or newborn to 6T is extremely popular. So if you ever have any extra clothes or leftover clothes that you're willing to donate instead of dropping it off at the boxes, or maybe do both, contribute to the boxes and contribute to a local agency to help local families with their basic needs.
And I believe we are hiring, and I believe we are seeking mentors as well. So
Yes.
if you're interested and you're looking for a position, or you want to impact the community through mentoring, reach out to us.
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm sorry, but that's all the time that we have. Thank you both for all you do for those in need. I'd love to hear your thoughts and suggestions. Please send them to lifeissuestv@gmail.com. And remember, live each day to the fullest and celebrate life.